The potential impact of Tyrese Haliburton on the New York Knicks. The latest NBA offseason has once again highlighted the New York Knicks as one of the league's most closely watched teams. For years, the Knicks have been chasing the elusive player who could elevate them from playoff contenders to legitimate title threats. With rumors swirling about Tyrese Haliburton potentially joining the Knicks, fans and analysts alike are speculating on how this move could finally push New York back into championship contention. But who is Tyrese Haliburton, and why does his signing have the potential to drastically change the Knicks' future? Haliburton, currently with the Indiana Pacers, has quickly established himself as one of the most exciting young point guards in the league. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing 183 pounds, Haliburton possesses a rare combination of size, skill and basketball IQ that has earned him recognition as an elite playmaker and scorer. Selected 12th overall by the Sacramento Kings in the 2020 NBA Draft, Haliburton exceeded expectations early on, quickly showcasing his ability to control the game from the point guard position. His sharp court vision, excellent passing and lethal shooting touch have made him one of the most coveted players in the league. In his first few seasons, Haliburton's star continued to rise after he was traded to the Indiana Pacers. He has since become the face of the Pacers franchise, earning a spot on the All-NBA third team in 2024. With an impressive ability to control the game's tempo, set up teammates with pinpoint passes, and score efficiently, he represents everything the Knicks have been searching for in a true lead guard. The potential addition of Haliburton to the Knicks roster could reshape the team's offense. Currently, the Knicks rely heavily on Jalen Brunson to both score and facilitate the offense, but Haliburton's elite passing could alleviate some of that burden. A Haliburton-Brunson backcourt would be one of the most dynamic in the league, as both players are capable of handling the ball and making plays. With Haliburton focusing on distributing and creating opportunities, Brunson could take on a more aggressive scoring role, playing off the ball and finding open lanes to attack. Brunson, who was having an all-star caliber season before suffering an unfortunate injury, is known for his ability to take over games, but his offensive workload has been heavy. Pairing him with Haliburton would allow him to conserve energy and become even more efficient in scoring, especially late in games. The Knicks would no longer be a one-dimensional offense that relies on Brunson's heroics, but rather a well-balanced, multifaceted attack led by two high IQ players who can both score and facilitate at an elite level. But Haliburton's impact would not just be felt on the offensive end. His length and defensive instincts would also be a major asset for the Knicks. At 6 feet 5 inches, Haliburton has the size to guard multiple positions, something that is crucial in today's switch-heavy NBA defensive schemes. The Knicks, under head coach Tom Thibodeau, have built their identity around defense, and adding a versatile defender like Haliburton would further strengthen their ability to lock down opposing teams. His ability to read passing lanes and disrupt offenses with deflections and steals would make the Knicks even more formidable on that end of the floor. Offensively, Haliburton's unselfish nature and elite court vision would immediately elevate the play of his teammates. Players like Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett would benefit greatly from having a point guard of Haliburton's caliber running the offense. Both Randle and Barrett thrive when they can play off the ball and attack the rim, and Haliburton's ability to find them in advantageous positions would create more easy scoring opportunities. The Knicks' offensive sets could become much more fluid, with Haliburton orchestrating the attack and ensuring that the ball moves freely, finding the open man. Moreover, Haliburton's shooting ability cannot be understated. In a league that increasingly values three-point shooting, Haliburton has proven himself to be a reliable threat from beyond the arc. His ability to knock down shots at a high clip would help space the floor for the Knicks, giving Brunson, Randle, and Barrett more room to operate in the paint. The Knicks have struggled with spacing in recent years, and Haliburton's presence would be a game-changer in that regard. Yet, while Haliburton's potential fit with the Knicks seems perfect on paper, the path to acquiring him may not be straightforward. The Indiana Pacers are unlikely to part with their rising star easily. As the face of their franchise, Haliburton has become central to their future plans, and it would likely take a significant package to pry him away from Indiana. The Knicks, however, are well positioned to make an aggressive offer. With a deep pool of young talent and a trove of future draft picks, New York has the resources to put together a trade package that could entice the Pacers. But the Knicks will need to be strategic in constructing an offer. Trading away too many key pieces could diminish the depth and cohesion that has made them a competitive team. They will need to find the right balance between acquiring Haliburton and maintaining a roster that can contend for a title. Knicks fans have seen their team make big moves in the past that didn't pan out as expected, so there will undoubtedly be caution as the front office weighs its options. However, the opportunity to acquire a player of Haliburton's caliber doesn't come around often. For the Knicks, adding a young, talented and high IQ point guard could be the missing piece they've been searching for. The potential to pair him with their already strong core could propel the Knicks into the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, and perhaps into the NBA Finals conversation. Leadership, locker room dynamics and trade implications. While Tyrese Haliburton's on-court abilities have been well documented, it's his leadership qualities and maturity that might make him an even more valuable asset to the New York Knicks. As a young player, Haliburton has already displayed a poise and understanding of the game that goes beyond his years. His ability to lead both by example and with his voice in the locker room has garnered the respect of teammates and coaches alike. In many ways, Haliburton represents the type of player who can be the cornerstone of a franchise, not just because of his talent but because of his character and approach to the game. The Knicks, under head coach Tom Thibodeau, have built a culture of accountability, hard work and defense-first basketball. This philosophy has helped reshape the Knicks' identity, making them a playoff team over the last few years. However, to take the next step towards championship contention, they need a true leader at the point guard position, someone who can steer the ship both on and off the court. While Jalen Brunson has done an admirable job as the Knicks' primary ball handler, adding Haliburton to the mix could provide the team with an even stronger sense of direction and leadership. Haliburton's calm demeanor and ability to keep his composure in high-pressure situations would be a welcome addition to a Knicks team that has at times struggled in big moments. His ability to communicate effectively with teammates, hold others accountable, and maintain a positive locker room culture would be invaluable. In today's NBA, where team chemistry and mental toughness are often the difference between winning and losing in the postseason, Haliburton's leadership could give the Knicks an edge. One of the key factors to consider is how Haliburton would mesh with the current Knicks roster. The Knicks have a mix of young players and veterans who have helped them achieve success in recent seasons. Players like Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson have formed the foundation of the team, with Brunson serving as the engine that makes the offense go. Adding Haliburton to this core group would undoubtedly change the dynamics, but it's hard to see how his presence wouldn't be an overall positive for the team. Randle, who has been the focal point of the Knicks' offense in recent years, could benefit greatly from Haliburton's playmaking. Randle has thrived when surrounded by shooters and facilitators who can create space for him to operate in the post or attack the basket. Haliburton's ability to stretch the floor and create opportunities for others would open up the court for Randle, allowing him to operate more efficiently and avoid the double teams he frequently faces. Randle's scoring numbers could see a boost as a result, as he would be able to focus more on finishing plays rather than creating them. Similarly, R.J. Barrett, who has shown flashes of brilliance but has yet to reach his full potential, could thrive alongside Haliburton. Barrett has struggled with consistency, particularly with his outside shooting and decision-making, but Haliburton's presence could help simplify his role. With Haliburton running the offense and creating open looks for his teammates, Barrett would be able to play more off the ball, focusing on cutting to the basket, hitting open shots and playing solid defense. This reduced responsibility as a playmaker could help Barrett become more efficient and effective. Mitchell Robinson, the Knicks' defensive anchor, would also stand to benefit from Haliburton's arrival. Robinson has always been a force around the rim, both as a shot blocker and as a lob threat on offense. Haliburton's passing ability, particularly in the pick and roll, would create more opportunities for Robinson to finish at the rim. The combination of Haliburton and Robinson in pick-and-roll situations would be a nightmare for opposing defenses, as Robinson's athleticism and Haliburton's court vision would create a deadly two-man game. However, to acquire a player of Haliburton's caliber, the Knicks would almost certainly have to part with some of their young talent and draft assets. The Indiana Pacers are unlikely to let Haliburton go without receiving a significant haul in return, and this is where the Knicks front office will face a difficult decision. The Knicks have done an admirable job of accumulating young players and future draft picks, but now they may need to dip into that pool to land a player who can elevate them to the next level. Names like Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, and Obi Toppin have often come up in trade discussions involving the Knicks. While each of these players has shown promise and potential, none have yet proven to be the type of franchise-changing talent that Haliburton represents. The Knicks may need to be willing to part with one or more of these young players to entice the Pacers into a deal. Additionally, the Knicks have a stockpile of future first-round draft picks that could be included in a trade package. The question then becomes, how much is too much to give up? The Knicks have been careful in recent years not to mortgage their future for short-term success, but Haliburton is the type of player who could be a long-term building block. The front office will need to strike a delicate balance between acquiring Haliburton and maintaining the depth and flexibility that has made them a competitive team. Overpaying for a player, even one as talented as Haliburton, could set the franchise back if it leaves the team without enough assets to continue building around him. Another key consideration is whether Haliburton is willing to commit long-term to the Knicks. The last thing the Knicks want is to give up significant assets for a player who may not see New York as his long-term home. Before making any trade, the Knicks would need assurances that Haliburton is fully on board with the direction of the team and is willing to be the centerpiece of their future plans. If the Knicks can successfully land Haliburton without gutting their roster or draft capital, the move would likely pay immediate dividends. Haliburton's presence would elevate the team's ceiling and put them in position to compete with the top teams in the Eastern Conference. With teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and Miami Heat all boasting strong rosters, the Knicks need a player like Haliburton to keep pace and potentially surpass these Eastern powerhouses. The Knicks' future with Tyrese Haliburton and impact on the NBA landscape. If Tyrese Haliburton were to join the New York Knicks, the implications would be far-reaching, not just for the Knicks themselves, but for the entire Eastern Conference and potentially the NBA at large. The addition of a rising star like Haliburton could shift the balance of power, positioning the Knicks as one of the elite teams in the conference and giving them a legitimate shot at making a deep playoff run. The Eastern Conference has been dominated in recent years by powerhouse teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and Miami Heat. All three teams boast rosters stacked with all-star talent and have become perennial contenders, with the Bucks even winning a championship in 2021 behind the brilliance of Giannis Antetokounmpo. While the Knicks have made strides in recent seasons, they have yet to establish themselves as true title contenders. Adding Haliburton could be the move that finally propels them into that conversation. First, let's consider how Haliburton's arrival would impact the Knicks' chances of competing in the Eastern Conference. With Haliburton, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett forming the core of the team, the Knicks would possess a formidable combination of talent, leadership, and versatility. This quartet would give the Knicks multiple playmakers and scorers, making them difficult to defend. Haliburton and Brunson could share ball-handling duties, giving the Knicks a dynamic backcourt capable of orchestrating the offense and creating for others. Meanwhile, Randle and Barrett would benefit from Haliburton's ability to space the floor and facilitate open looks, making them even more effective as scorers. Defensively, Haliburton's size and instincts would bolster the Knicks' already stout defense. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches with a 6 feet 8 inches wingspan, Haliburton has the length and quickness to guard multiple positions, making him a valuable asset in Thibodeau's defensive schemes. His ability to generate steals, block shots, and disrupt passing lanes would complement the Knicks' defensive identity, which has been a hallmark of their recent success. With Haliburton in the fold, the Knicks could emerge as one of the top defensive teams in the league, a key ingredient for playoff success. But how would the Knicks stack up against the other top teams in the East? Against the Milwaukee Bucks, the Knicks would face a tall task in trying to contain Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the most dominant players in the league. However, with Haliburton running the offense, the Knicks could exploit the Bucks' defense by spreading the floor and utilizing their playmakers to create mismatches. Haliburton's ability to knock down three-pointers would keep Milwaukee's defense honest, while Brunson and Randle could attack the paint. Additionally, the Knicks' improved defense with Haliburton could help slow down the Bucks' high-powered offense, making a potential playoff matchup more competitive than in years past. The Boston Celtics, led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, would present another formidable challenge for the Knicks. However, Haliburton's versatility could help the Knicks match up well with Boston's star-studded roster. Both Tatum and Brown thrive in isolation and transition situations, but Haliburton's defensive awareness and ability to contest shots could make it harder for Boston to get into a rhythm offensively. On the other end, Haliburton's playmaking would force the Celtics to adjust defensively, as the Knicks would have multiple options to attack from the perimeter and the post. The Miami Heat, known for their gritty, defense-first approach, would also be a tough opponent for the Knicks. Miami's physical style of play has often caused problems for the Knicks in the past, but Haliburton's poise and basketball IQ could give New York an advantage. Haliburton excels at controlling the tempo of the game and making smart decisions with the ball, which would be crucial in a playoff series against a team like the Heat. His leadership and composure would also help the Knicks avoid the mental lapses that have plagued them in previous postseason runs. Overall, the addition of Haliburton would elevate the Knicks into the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. They would no longer be viewed as a plucky underdog, but rather as a legitimate contender with the talent and depth to challenge the best teams in the league. This newfound status would not only energize the Knicks fanbase but also attract more attention from free agents and other star players looking to join a team on the rise. But what about the rest of the league? How would Haliburton's move to the Knicks affect the broader NBA landscape? For one, the Indiana Pacers would have to adjust to life without their budding star. While the Pacers have been building around Haliburton as their franchise cornerstone, his departure would signal a shift in their direction. In return for Haliburton, the Pacers would likely receive a package of young players and draft picks, which could help them accelerate their rebuild. However, losing Haliburton would undoubtedly be a blow to the Pacers, as they would be giving up one of the most promising young players in the league. The trade would also send a message to other teams around the league that the Knicks are serious about competing for a championship. For years, the Knicks have been viewed as a team that struggles to attract star talent, often missing out on top free agents. However, landing Haliburton would signal a new era for the Knicks, one where they are willing to make bold moves to improve their roster and contend for a title. This shift in perception could have a ripple effect throughout the league, as other teams may be more inclined to make aggressive trades or signings in response. Additionally, Haliburton's move to New York could set off a domino effect in terms of player movement. With Haliburton now in the Eastern Conference, other teams in the West may look to make moves to counterbalance the shift in talent. Teams like the Dallas Mavericks, Phoenix Suns, and Denver Nuggets, all of whom are vying for Western Conference supremacy, could be motivated to make trades or signings to keep pace with the rising power of the East. Ultimately, the potential trade of Tyrese Haliburton to the New York Knicks could reshape the NBA landscape in profound ways. For the Knicks, it would represent a chance to finally escape the mediocrity that has plagued the franchise for decades and re-establish themselves as a force in the league. For the rest of the NBA, it would signal a shift in power dynamics and could spark a flurry of player movement as teams look to stay competitive. As Knicks fans dream of a future with Haliburton donning the blue and orange, the front office must carefully weigh the risks and rewards of making such a monumental move. The opportunity to acquire a player of Haliburton's caliber doesn't come around often, and if the Knicks play their cards right, they could be on the verge of something special. The pieces are in place for the Knicks to take a leap forward, and Tyrese Haliburton just might be the key to unlocking their full potential. Whether or not the Knicks ultimately land Haliburton, one thing is clear: the team is no longer content with being a middle-of-the-pack playoff contender. With a bold new vision and a willingness to make aggressive moves, the New York Knicks are positioning themselves for a future where championships are once again within reach.